This week on the Southern Fried Philosophy Podcast, we're going to play It's a Dog or It Ain't. We're going to talk about the Supreme Court ruling on the sports gambling and what happens when you die. All that and more on this week's episode of the Southern Fried Philosophy Podcast. Here we go. Hello, everybody. Welcome to a brand new episode of the Southern Fried Philosophy Podcast, where it's two guys take on life, liberty, and the pursuit of gravy, and you, the listener, are getting a degree in common sense. We are broadcasting from the Busted Knuckles studio right here in beautiful downtown historic Concord, North Carolina. I'll be your host, Biggin, and how about you? We've got a great show lined up for you as always, but before we begin, let me go ahead and introduce you to the second half of this flaky biscuit. That's right, I'm talking about the pride of Anderson, South Carolina. But most of you probably know him best as the Silver Tongue one, 2016's honorable mention, nose picker of the year, the inventor of the redneck egg roll. Give it up on old mic number one, it's Mojo!
At least I don't dig in deep and then pull them out and eat them.
I dig in deep, but I don't eat them.
2 knuckles deep, baby, 2 knuckles. Anyway, appreciate you guys joining us once again for an exciting electric episode of the Southern Fried Philosophy Podcast. You can find us on the Facebook at Southern Fried Philosophy. Yeah, you can find us on the Instagram and Twitters at SFP Radio. Our website at www.southernfriedphilosophy.com. You can also find us on youtube.com/SFP Radio.
Just a couple of housekeeping tips. If you would like to come and check us out at the Busted Knuckles studio, just email us at sfpradio@gmail.com, and you could get your very own Bad Mother Smokers smoking hot seats. You can sit here in the studio with us, and you could also pick your nose with us. We also ask you to not eat it.
Just bring your own Kleenex.
I'm going to ask you like I ask you every week, Mojo, how you be darn? He takes a deep breath.
I drive a lot.
You do drive a lot.
Just for the business and personal. And, of course, the town we live in is only like 80 miles wide. I mean, it's just so many miles.
63 to be
Oh, is it
exact.
really? I was just taking a while.
Yeah, it's 63 miles long, and you'll be in the same county from one end to the other.
Well, and I also work in another county, too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, of course, as soon as you cross the North Carolina state line, I think we have construction.
Yes.
And it is nonstop.
It don't stop.
I don't get it. One day there's a road, and the next day there's not. Coming down Church Street today,
Yep,
they removed the asphalt.
they did.
I'm surprised it went back to cobblestone or just dirt. It was rough.
It's still rough. And I was talking to because Church Street goes right by my house, so we kind of walked to the end of it and talked to the guy, and I was like, you realize at this point you're ripping up the road, and it's raining for the entire week. If you look at the 10-day forecast, it's rain the rest of the time.
Like 80% chance.
Did anybody look at that before we decided, hey, let's tear up the road? Just a quick question for you. So yeah, it's frustrating.
Yeah, and it's, I guess I should be thankful in a way, just because we don't have South Carolina or Pennsylvania roads, because that's just crappy.
Toll.
But dude, like I don't know. I'm kind of curious now when they're going to get this done, because, like you said, this is a week out, 10 days out.
Here's looking at
nonstop
you,
spring rain. Yeah. So it's just frustrating. I mean, everywhere I go. I mean, it should be. If I look on the GPS, it says 16 miles. You might as well plan 45 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just so much construction going on.
With all the stuff that Google has coming out, I just need them to connect with the DOT and just like, oh, yeah, by the way, there's construction here. You're not getting to work for 2 hours.
Well, luckily there's Waze out there, the GPS app, that kind of gives you real-time up-to-dates from users. But I feel sorry for that sorry sap that has to go all of a sudden to find that road construction right there and has to mark it, because he's going to be sitting there for a while. But anyway, so how you be doing, buddy?
I'm good, man. Gosh, it's been fun at work. I'll just leave it at that. We've got a story about a guy who had a really good day at work. So I am looking forward to some of these wacky news, man. But
it's been a good week for wacky news.
It's been great. Let's without further ado, let's just go ahead and go and do it.
Ooh, baby, it's making me crazy. It's making me crazy. Every time I look around,
So on the teaser, we said we're going to play It's a Dog or It Ain't. I posted this on our Instagram account not long ago that a woman in China picked up a dog, raised it from a puppy. She bought the puppy, raised it, and then a year later she realized, like, the puppy isn't barking like it should. And then it's not eating its dog food like it should. So then it turns out that this puppy, how about this, is a fox. Like, not only did she just miss the fact that it, like, you know, it wasn't.
Aren't they a part of the canine family?
I mean, I'm sure
It's probably technically.
It looks fair. I mean, I get it, but
Was the fox friendly?
Nobody knows. But we don't know we do know what a fox is.
Yeah.
Whatever that is. but here's the thing. Like, not only did this happen, right, but there was another issue where, here's the headline: a pet dog raised by Chinese family for 2 years turns out to be a black bear.
Oh my gosh. Evidently, the pet smart over there is not too good at labeling pets there.
2 years after getting this puppy, they realized this probably isn't a puppy when it started walking on its two legs.
Oh, jeez.
And then it ended up being 250-pound bear.
God, he looked for hidden honey jars and trees.
The owner said, "Yeah, I'm pretty scared of bears, but then I realized my puppy has now become a bear." And here's the thing that, okay, so there was a fox, right? They raised a fox. Then there was a bear. But this wasn't the first time that's happened in the same city. Somebody did it a year prior to it. Bought a puppy, raised it, and then it turned out to be a bear. Do you guys not know how to Google image what a puppy looks like?
Well, maybe I'm telling you right now, PetSmart in China, they need to.
You should not buy PetSmart or PetSmart. We're still arguing that one. But honestly, y'all, like, is that not insane? How do you not know it's not a bear? It's a bear.
And his dog turned into a bear. No, sir, your bear turned into a bigger bear.
Oh gosh, like, y'all, I don't get it. Here's something I think that you'll enjoy. This is from the Lexington Herald Leader. Nothing was malicious. Lexington legends react to anger over an event for millennials. So the Lexington Legends baseball organization decided we're going to have Millennial Night, right, for these millennials. So you may ask yourself, well, what does Millennial Night all entail? One, there's going to be free parking, right? Between
they all ride bicycles. So that's right.
During nap time, or between innings, there's going to be an official nap time.
Genius.
Everybody that is 20 or younger gets participation ribbons.
Nice. I like this.
And then there is selfie stops where everybody will stop and take a selfie.
Nice.
So everybody thought that this was going to be funny, but it turned out it really kind of made the millennials upset, and they backlashed some of the Lexington Legends with their Twitter. They got angry and tweeted them and said,
so this is a baseball team, right?
It's a baseball team.
So basically, the millennials who don't attend got offended and decided not to attend.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But I mean, they had nap time in between.
That's awesome. And participation trophies. That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, ribbons.
Yeah.
So
trophies probably
I
too
thought
expensive.
That was actually pretty funny.
Yeah, that is awesome.
Did you have a?
Yeah. This is out of Kansas. New law. Kansas cops cannot have sex during traffic stops.
Wait, this is a law?
Yeah, just passed.
Wow.
A new Kansas law makes it a crime for police to have sex with people they pull over for traffic violations or detain in criminal investigations. The new law bans sexual relations during the course of a traffic stop, a custodial interrogation, an interview in connection with an investigation, or while the law enforcement officer has such person detailed. Now, you may ask yourself, wasn't this illegal already? Actually, it wasn't. So Kansas was one of 33 states where consensual sex between police and the people in their custody wasn't a crime.
Wow.
That came as a surprise to members of the House Judiciary
Easy for you to say.
Judiciary.
Come on, bring it.
It's like specific and Pacific.
Oh, man.
Committee who got the new law passed in a bundled bill with several other law enforcement measures. The Governor Collier there signed it into law. Representative Cindy Holscher introduced the bill, and it had bipartisan support and yada, yada, yada. She spun it, though. This is part of the number one, I hate when bills are loaded into other bills.
Sure, yeah.
Because this could have been a bill that was passed with, like, Free Taco Tuesday or something.
Or like selling bears as puppies.
That, or selfies, participation trophies at baseball games. But anyway, there was a guy named Lamont McIntyre, a Kansas City native, released last year after spending 23 years in prison for a double murder he did not commit.
Whoa.
The investigation led to multiple affidavits alleging that the detective who made the arrest was actually having an ongoing sexual relationship with women who actually accused this person. So,
snap!
But instead of actually looking at the individual case, we got to make a law against it. Like what's wacky about it is that you would think there would have been like some type of professional decorum that would probably, or
right.
some type of inter-facility memos. Hey, by the way, go out and protect and serve, and don't do more.
Well, the fact that it's not in the handbook probably is a problem. I will say, I really wish. I'm not. That would have been an interesting episode of Live PD if they decided to go watch that, like follow them around, be like,
it ain't illegal.
It ain't illegal.
Yeah.
I'm gonna, So yeah, I mean, golly. Okay, so here's another one. We all love our jobs, right? I think my boss may every once in a while listen to the show. So I'm never going to do this. And it's, I like my boss for real. So I'm not going to do this, but there's a lottery winner that was arrested for dumping $200,000 of manure on his ex-boss's lawn. A man from Illinois was arrested for getting $224,000 worth of manure and dumped it on his employer's property only 2 weeks after he won $125 million at the lotto, and then he quit his job. A Mr. Morris, Brian Morris, from a small town of Clarendon Hills in DuPage County. I have no idea where that's at. He got dozens of dump trucks, and they showed up at 6 o'clock in his ex-boss's lawn and just started dumping it. Well, his ex-boss ran out, called the cops, but it took them like 15 minutes to get there.
Right.
By the time they got there, 10,000 tons of manure was already dumped on his yard.
10,000 tons?
10,000 tons, of manure had already been dumped in the meantime.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's 20,000 pounds of dookie.
Yeah. You ask yourself, how did you know who it was? Well, Brian Morris was standing right across the street and laughing when the police arrived. He rapidly came over to confess that he was responsible and explained his motivations. They had a press conference, and the police said this. The accused told us, now we'll keep it rated PG as much as I can, but the accused told us that he worked for the victim for 17 years and he was treated like crap. He said that he was made to endure his mistreatment and he needed the money to keep working there. But now that he had won the $125 million, it was time for revenge. When Brian told everybody that he won the lotto, he simply just said, just read the news and you'll see what I'm going to do with some of this money. But can I just also show you his... The best part is his mugshot picture. And we'll have this, I'll probably tweet it out.
Cheshire cat grin, man.
Have you seen this? Look at that face.
Sir, if you happen to be out of prison anytime soon, we would love to have you on. I think you are a hero. Not all heroes wear capes, right? So
the dude is standing there against the wall, laughing as hard as he can.
The cops hated to do that.
You know they did.
Yeah, because they all have crappy days too. So wow.
Would you, if you won the lotto, would that be one of the things? And keep in mind, $224,000. Even out of a $1.25 million,
right?
I mean, that's still a good chunk of jack.
Yeah, that's still a good bit of money. So, yeah.
On your worst day, would you have done that to any of your bosses?
I don't. I'm sure I probably would.
Mm-hmm.
I probably just call it enrich.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty frugal.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd want to waste that money, but
Yeah.
I'm sure I probably could have done something stupid in my younger days. So.
Oh, could you imagine that call?
Yeah.
I'm going to need 10,000 tons of poop.
Yeah,
Delivered
yeah.
at 6 a.m.
That's right. The only thing I would have done to one of my former bosses, I would have paid people $10 a piece just to call in the restaurant and order to-go orders, and then I'll go pick them up.
Oh.
But that would have been malicious.
So you were in the restaurant business. What happens when you do that? When you call in an order and you just don't pick it up? Like, I've heard it said before, like if you dine and dash, that it comes out of the waitress's check and all that kind of stuff. Is that
trust
false?
me, now the market is so competitive for good help. Ain't no restaurateur going to take money. I have no servers, money because they need the help.
Yeah.
I mean, they know these people work paycheck to paycheck, or every night. In a lot of cases, servers, I mean, they spend their money nightly.
Yeah.
So you know what I'm saying?
True, yeah.
So yeah, that doesn't happen. I don't believe it happens. I'm sure there's probably some random location where that does happen, but that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Just written off as a loss.
The last one that I have is that there was a high school in Miami-Dade County that decided they're going to have a theme for their prom. And I don't think it was probably the best idea. While the principal was getting things together for the theme of this prom, it included several animals, which included a lemur, 2 macaws, and an African fennec fox, along with a caged tiger. The theme of it was "Welcome to the Jungle."
Welcome to the jungle. We got fun and games. We got everything you want.
He said, "Welcome to the jungle." He got a live tiger and put it in the middle of the dance floor, and people were dancing around this tiger. The tiger looked upset. I mean, he didn't look happy.
Have any of the parents come out?
Oh, yeah. So he got in trouble, and then he realized the next day he called in and said, yeah, that wasn't a good idea. That was not a good idea. My bad. There was a lack of judgment on my part. My bad, and that will never happen again. But, I mean, a live tiger at a prom. Would you let your daughter's, dances coming up, would you let her go if there's a live tiger? Just,
I'm not going to let her go if there's the male species there. What are you talking about?
They are the male tiger, my friend.
Oh, jeez.
They are. But, here's my deal. And I've said this multiple times, and this is why I don't like people with snakes and other animals that can eat you or harm you. Unless they're in a zoo and there's trained people that can get there very quickly, I don't need to be around that. That's why I don't like snakes.
Right.
They can kill you.
And kill you.
They can kill you good.
Yeah, I found actually a baby copperhead in my yard the other day.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Did you kill it?
I killed it.
Good.
Killed it dead.
Attaboy. So I thought it was funny that he got a live tiger and then realized that's probably not.
It's not Tony the Tiger.
No.
Not great.
All right, so we are going to take a break. That was some wacky news brought to you by Webmerized. If you need a clean, crisp website, go check them out at webmerized.com. That is webmerized.com. We will be right back, and you're listening to the Southern Fried Philosophy Podcast. Words cannot describe how awesome Robert and his team at Webmerized are. In our time of need, Robert came through for us and devoted more time than expected to help our organization develop our new website. It truly is a blessing to have an individual that can speak to the average person not in the IT world in a manner that can easily be understood. The process of working with his team was painless, and I look forward to working with them for future projects. Our website is spectacular, and I'm really proud of what was developed by Webmerized. Thanks. Don't take Stella H's word for it, and also Southern Fried Philosophies, but go out to webmerized.com, WEBMERIZED, or check out the sponsors link on our website. And if you mention the word biggin in your order, you'll get 10% off. Check them out at webmerized.com for your web services needs.
These are the days of America, brother to brother, hand in hand. These are the days of America, walking together through the promised land.
All right, so these are the days of America. The Supreme Court has just ruled, and this was earlier this week, so probably about a week since this came out, that they have legalized sports betting. In 1992, there was the Professional and Amateur Sports Protection Act that was signed that prohibited states from authorizing sports betting, saying that it was unconstitutional. They put a ban on sports betting, except they allowed Nevada, Delaware. I think there was 3 or 4 other states that allowed them to continue to do that since they were grandfathered in. But now New Jersey has sued and said that we want to be able, or they passed a law said that we're going to allow sports betting. Then the NCAA and some other organizations sued New Jersey, said no, you can't. And then it went to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court has now ruled, hey, you can do that. So now they're allowing all 50 states to decide now how they're going to do sports betting. And, dude, this is going to change sports forever. Like, it's going to be massive.
Well, this all started after there's something called the amicus curiae, or I think it's Latin.
Emancipation Proclamation.
It's a Latin, and it means friends of the court. So it's not direct plaintiff, but it's friends of the court or friends of the plaintiff, or filed this kind of a addendum, and which really got the ball rolling. So what does this mean? Is it good news? Absolutely, it's good news, because it's actually a step in the right direction for federalism, which brings the power of individual states into deciding what the individual states want to do.
Right.
For example, if you have the populace that wants betting, then guess what? They can vote on it, and bam, you got it. That's the true hallmarks of a Republican democracy, is that we get to choose. Also, I think this can have some extenuating factors where, for example, I'm a proponent of marijuana legislation. This is also something too, because what they ruled is actually the 10th Amendment, in favor of the 10th Amendment, which defines the concept of federalism, and also the relationship between federal government and state governments, in limiting the federal overreach.
Right.
So I think this is monumental. This is probably one of the biggest things we've seen come out of the Supreme Court in years.
Yeah, it's going to be huge. Like, even if you look at Sports Center, like, I guarantee you that there's going to be like a sports betting thing before Sports Center,
Absolutely,
or before games, or even during games. They may have the odds, so you can just place your bets or whatever.
Look, who am I to decide if you should or you shouldn't bet?
Right.
But also, what they don't, when the government, prime example why the government is stupid, okay, is that anytime the government makes something illegal, what happens?
Everybody wants to go do it. Yeah.
Black market betting. You can't tell me that you've never, and no one listening to this right now, you've never placed $1 on a game, or $2 or 10. Everyone has. That's considered legal betting.
Yeah, we just had the Kentucky Derby, and like how much money was going through that.
Well, look at this. I was watching something this yesterday morning on, or maybe it was this morning, Sports Center, where the Las Vegas Knights, the new hockey team, there's a couple people that picked them to win the Stanley Cup this year. Beginning of playoffs, or one of these times. Anyway, it's just I kind of caught half the segment with my 5-year-old in my lap trying to put a Pop-Tart in my ear. But I mean, some of these guys, 175 to 1 odds.
Yeah.
And now the Knights are very close. I mean, that's going to be a nice little payday for these guys.
Yeah.
And so should it. I mean, European nations, they raise a lot of money for, of course, they're already in higher tax brackets anyway, but they raise a lot of money through legal betting. So, this is monumental. So I'm happy to see this. Not that I bet, because I'm too frugal to bet. I mean,
I don't understand the odds and
I don't
kind
either.
Of stuff.
Points, spread. I'm not.
People are really good at that, and I have no idea.
I have no clue. And I remember betting one time on a game, and I lost. So I just that was my enjoyment out of that.
Well, and you hear like an uproar with conservative Christians, like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe they're betting." But have you not bought a lotto ticket? That's betting. You know, like you said, put a couple of dollars down on a race, a game, anything like that. I mean, you've done it. So if you're against it, then you've got to not have ever done anything, but be consistent.
Right.
You know, like we've talked about on the show, like just be consistent one way or the other. Like, you know.
Oh yeah. I mean, you know, going back to conservative Christians, anytime they play a game of chance, they're betting.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some type of reward.
Bingo in the church parking lot or in the church.
Well, I mean,
fellowship hall.
fall festivals.
Yeah.
They pay a ticket to win something.
A raffle.
The cakewalk.
Yeah.
The notorious cakewalk in Southern churches. That's gambling.
Right.
You paid a couple tickets to win a cake from Sister Esther. So
speaking about live PD, I saw a couple episodes ago. They had. Have you heard about this? Where they get a cow and they put them in a field that has checkerboards, and then with numbers on them. And if the cow poops on your square,
cow patty.
yeah, you win the prize.
Wow.
Have you ever heard of that?
I have.
Wow.
But I can't remember from where or why. Of course, I know a lot of stupid knowledge. So I remember reading or seeing something about that.
So that's gambling right there.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah, I'm excited. The thing that I'm hesitant about is it going to make players want to shave points and that kind of stuff, because it's been known to happen before when it was prior to it being illegal. People were shaving points and Pete Rose and all that kind of stuff.
It could happen, but that's the nature of the beast. But also Mark Cuban spoke out today and said that actually with this betting going on now, that each team is actually worth double now the street value or their business value. So,
yeah, I'm sure.
Houston Rockets just sold for a record $1.2 billion, I think, dollars. So maybe their corporate valuation now will be worth $2.4 billion. So imagine that.
I know it's not $2.4 billion. My Bitcoin.
But no, but I know a lot of people. Before you get your undies in the wad and think that this is like one step closer to the abyss of hell, and us facing Satan. This is nothing but liberty. This is freedom. This is stuff that goes back to the basic foundations of this country. I mean, having a little bit of liberty to decide what this individual does. If this individual is not affecting you by placing $10 on the Super Bowl, it has nothing to do with you.
The argument's going to be, well, people aren't going to be able to control themselves, so now they're throwing their money away, and now I'm going to have to bail them out.
Well, if we all saw that, then we would probably ban a lot of things: cars, mopeds, sugar,
drones,
caffeine. I mean, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot. I mean, look, every time I'm in a QT gas station and I see some young kid grab 8 Red Bulls, obviously he's probably down the line going to have a heart attack, probably from her Red Bulls. So should I ban Red Bulls? Should I hold QT liable? I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's just
I totally got you. Speaking about sports, I saw today that Duke basketball just picked up Nico Maninon. Did you see that?
I did not.
2020 point guard picks up a Duke offer, I should say. So I noticed Cal's been doing this. Looks like Coach K is doing this, picking up kids that are like sophomores and freshmen in high school.
I think it's going to be a trend. I mean, the one and done, I've never been a big fan of one and done. It goes back to liberty. Of course, the kids can make their own decisions.
Right.
But I hate it as a sports fan, because I grew up, we both grew up in the 90s. It was kind of my formative years.
Yeah.
And seeing these legacy teams where you had guys come in raw and green as a freshman and then graduate being a senior and just like being the cat's meow. So from a selfish spectator standpoint, I hate that. But I do understand the one and done. These guys want to get in the NBA and make some bucks or whatever, or think they're going to get drafted and then end up in playing in Yugoslavia which there's no Yugoslavia anymore, but playing in a country, you're playing in a country
G League, D League,
something, But I understand the demand for it. But so with this one and done thing, I think this one and done thing is getting very, very super competitive.
Yeah.
I think who knows? They might start tracing back to high school or middle school. I mean, 'cause,
Yeah.
you can probably, I'm sure some good scout can probably recognize decent talent.
Oh, yeah.
But I just don't know how they're going to do that because
Kids haven't finished even growing yet. You know,
having growing that, injuries, kid could go sideways and develop a drug habit. You know, I mean, there's just so many unknown factors there for them to start, picking and basically put their name in the basket for these kids. I mean, I think if I'm not mistaken, there was a hockey team, a pro hockey team that actually put their name in for a kid who was still in middle school just because he was that talented.
Wow.
So, and I read that and I was pretty shocked, but it makes sense. Once again, it makes sense.
Yeah.
So,
well, it is interesting. Cal started doing the one and dones. Kay's doing the one and dones, and Duke has got the number one class so far.
Yeah.
At this point coming in, and I think Cal said, "Well, I ain't getting these guys, but I'm going to go after the next one." And then Kay's like, "Well, no, I'm going to do you one better," and he's one upping them down to 2020. I mean, golly, these kids.
you know what? If Kay's doing it 2020, that gives me some hope he's going to be around for a little while.
Well,
I mean,
I don't know.
If I have to go out there and volunteer to push him out in a wheelchair, I'll do it.
You would love that.
I'll do it.
Oh my gosh! All right. So the other thing that has hit the news that has been huge for this, and hopefully by the time you listen to this podcast, it'll be all done. But there's this Yanni or Laurel thing that's going on. So I don't know if you've heard this or not, but people are saying like there's Yanni. They'll hear something that's either Yanni or Laurel. So
Laurel, 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 Laurel,
So what are you hearing?
Laurel.
I'm hearing Laurel. I wonder if you play it backwards, does it say Yanni?
So everybody that I've heard that's talked about this has all heard Laurel,
Right.
but there are a few people that are hearing Yanni, which blows my mind. I think that you're probably drunk or high or something else like that. Except there's one guy that actually got the edited some of it, and they took the high frequencies out, and then he took the low frequencies out, and it's actually really interesting. And I'll let you guys listen. So here it is.
Laurel,
Okay, I got you.
Laurel,
Same thing, taking out the highs at this point.
Laurel, Laurel,
All right, so now he's going to take out the lows.
Dude, that sounds like the old backmasking of albums back in the 80s. Satan is king. Yeah, so
Can you try?
that's what it sounds like.
Yeah. So I mean, it's interesting. Like I had no idea that some people will hear the highs and some people will hear the lows. But I mean, you and I could hear the same exact thing.
Right.
But literally hear, or we could experience the same thing, but hear two completely different things.
I know, it's crazy. Like I was telling you earlier before the show that my oldest daughter's one told me about it today, and she sent me a clip. What do you hear? And I said Yanni or Laurel. She says, well, my sister, which is my oldest daughter, is 14. My youngest is 5, and my youngest heard Yanni, and of course, my youngest actually has a hearing problem with lower frequency, or higher frequency deficiency. So she actually heard the Yanni. So it's kind of interesting to see that.
That's crazy.
Or hear about that, or my daughter telling me about that. So it just kind of freaked me out because it clearly sounds like Laurel to me.
Yeah. Well, and maybe that explains why I can't hear my wife a lot of the time. I'm just going to tell her, sorry, you're speaking in high frequencies
That's
and I can't hear you.
I like that.
So there's that.
Quit speaking in that high frequency.
All right. And now there's an article that you want to talk about what happens when you die.
Well, people with my near-death experiences, I had someone sent me an article it's probably 6 months ago, and I've read this thing over hundreds of times, just reading it, pondering it, and if you get easily offended at Christianese talk, then go ahead and turn the podcast off. We'll see you next time. But
Send your emails to Mojo.
That's right. But no, it's here. Basically, the article. This came out of the UK last year, and it says brain activity appears to continue after people are dead, according to a new study. And the gist of it is, brain activity may continue up to 10 minutes after the body appears to have died. So basically, after the last heartbeat, the last air that goes into the lungs, the brain may actually still remain fully conscious for up to 10 minutes.
Wow.
So I guess my question I pose to you is just, if you run this as a thought experiment, could this be a default mechanism that God has put into the human body as part of that scandalous grace, that we read about in the Bible? And just, I guess, however you define scandalous, but when I read about that, that's just kind of a big, broad picture of how God loves us and the grace that God has bestowed upon us. So I don't know. So what are your thoughts?
So I guess what you're kind of saying is that if you pass away within that 10 minutes where your brain stops,
right,
like that may be a time where you say, God, I know that I screwed up.
Yep.
I ask you to forgive me of my sins.
Sure.
Ask Jesus to come into my heart that's not beating anymore. And be able to make a decision to accept Christ as your Lord and Savior. So so that will, get you into heaven. As much as a fire insurance policy. I mean, that is,
I don't know.
Minute.
What we know about the transition from this life into the afterlife is nothing. We literally know nothing. There's no way to prove it, not prove it. I mean, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I just ran this, like I said, this thought experiment down the rabbit hole one day. And I'm like, man, I wonder if this is a default mechanism. This is a backup system. This is that last call. I don't know. I mean, I'm probably wrong, but I'm just saying that I wonder. And I'm not saying to encourage people to go out and live like hell, on earth and try to abuse every moment. I'm just saying that I wonder if this is what truly is scandalous grace. Yeah. That God has built this into our bodies as a default mechanism. So
part of me, the parable of the worker that starts working at 6 a.m. and then the worker that starts at 4:30 and gets paid the exact same as the guy that got there at 6, and the guy at 6 is like really upset that he's getting paid the same, and then Jesus is like, well, you agreed to work for this wage. Right. Why does it matter what I pay him? Part of me has that gut reaction, like, seriously? Like, I've tried to do everything.
I've done it all my life.
I've been doing this my whole life. Why do you get the... Yeah. But that's my selfish, like, flesh part talking.
Right.
If there's the other part of me is just saying, if there's another option that people have that opportunity to do that, then that's awesome.
But that's the one beautiful thing about scandalous grace.
Right, sure.
Is that God can love me for what I've done.
Yep.
God can love you, but also God can love Jeffrey Dahmer and Ted Bundy. Yeah. These are guys that professed Christ, to public, to people. Even they committed atrocious, horrendous crimes, against fellow man.
Yep.
But we somehow don't want to absolve them of that sin. Mm-hmm. But that's not up to us.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I totally agree with that.
So I just, I don't know. Just the brain is conscious for 10 minutes. I wonder what it's doing.
Yeah.
I doubt it's trying to figure out that last move of Sudoku, or
trying to figure out that last Candy Crush.
Trying to figure out that last word for New York Times crossword puzzle. I mean, I wonder what it's going through, and we will, unfortunately, with brain neuroscience, we will probably not know unless it just morphs into something and that science catches up to defining what consciousness is and things like that. But anyway, it was a random thought, and really, I kind of just wanted to talk about it to air my thoughts and kind of gauge, because I'm a weirdo when it comes to running out thought experiments sometimes. And
I think it's a good question. And you hear people saying, like, you'll go towards the light, like when they have those near-death experiences, they're going towards the light. But at what point is there a point where our free will stops and we get sucked into the light?
Yeah.
Or can we have the free will to not even go in there?
Right.
Not that I would choose to be like, oh, well, I'd rather go, the Krispy Kreme instead of go to heaven.
I don't know. I mean, you could be like, dude, I just put a Hot Pocket in the microwave.
Hot Pocket? You know, I never did try that donut I've been trying to get a hold of. But there is the free will. And at what point can you refuse to, can you just not go in?
Yeah.
Could you, I mean, that's a great question. And then the other question that I have is if your brain is alive for 10 minutes, is that the Catholic version of purgatory?
Yeah, I thought about that too.
You know,
Because we don't know, our timeline is not God's timeline. You know,
one day with us is 1,000 years elsewhere.
sure.
You know, so maybe that is almost like a purgatory.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? I mean, that could actually be the. I mean, you know, in the church, there's all kinds of theories on everything.
Sure.
You know, the mysteries of God, and you know that does the soul automatically go to heaven after death? Does
Yeah.
a soul sleep until Christ comes back? Is there soul annihilation for the truly disgusting people that didn't accept Christ? I mean, there's so many theories out there.
Yeah.
So it could be purgatory. I mean, imagine. I mean, I've had, you know, I'm sure you've been in a tragic or an accident or
Yeah.
something where
Yeah.
you say, my life flashed before my eyes.
Yeah.
That's just a few seconds, but
Yep.
you feel that you feel that your consciousness flashed something maybe years in just a split second.
Yeah.
So imagine that, you know, in consciousness. So
Yeah, my wife and I were in an accident where we rolled a Dodge Durango 3 times. And I'm not kidding you when I say while it was doing that, like it felt like Spider-Man, you know, like when everything goes in super slow motion
Right.
and you can see everything.
Right.
It felt like that. Like I've never experienced anything like that. It just felt so slow. It's like
so it's kind of like Talladega Nights with Ricky Bobby. And he's doing this and they cut the commercial.
it felt like that. So I mean, I understand, like, you know, when you're in those panic situations, I mean, golly, I couldn't imagine 10 minutes of that.
Yeah, but you know, how do we know that 10 minutes isn't like just a self-healing, self-meditation? You know what I'm saying? I don't know, because
Maybe that's listen, I'm a big, and maybe it takes me 10 minutes to get to the light, you know? Maybe I'm just walking.
you know what would be my ultimate hell in that 10 minutes was me remembering not what I didn't do for the day. You know, like, did I pay the power bill? Did I, you know, just going over every motion of the day? Did I mail that in? Did I? You know, that would be my.
What do you think? Is that what's going to go through your mind in those 10 minutes?
Probably. No, I hope not.
I'm going to say, like my mom always said, like, make sure you got on clean underwear. I'm like, oh, crap. Do I have on clean underwear? Oh,
All I know is when it's my time to go and I'm chasing that light, hopefully that Chariots of Fire theme music goes on and I'm just running. I'm running fast, but it looks like I'm running slow motion, kind of cool. So I hope that's kind of what it is like.
Oh, yeah. Man, look, somebody asked me the other day, how you doing? I said, well, at least I'm 6 foot, you know, I'm above 6 foot of the ground. At least I'm this side of the ground.
That's right, this side of the dirt, baby.
But, you know, I think when I'm 6 foot under, I'm going to be just as good. I'm probably going to be much better at that, you know, at that point. So, anyway.
It's just different, different
thoughts.
perspectives and different, you know, we'll have a different destination, as Billy Graham always said, and just passing through.
Just passing through.
Obviously, we haven't visited that destination yet, so we don't know how.
I'm looking forward to
great it is. But if I can enjoy this dirt for a little longer on this side of the dirt, I'm all right with that too.
Yeah.
So
I'm not going to complain either way. Yeah, let us know your thoughts. If you have questions, thoughts, emails.
If we're total heretics, and tell us that too. It wouldn't be the first time today.
We'll put that up on our show notes. We'll put that article up on our show notes so you can review and listen to that, or at least read it for yourselves and get your thoughts on that. And email us your thoughts. That'd be great.
Yeah.
All right, so we are going to do this thing where we talked about this Whisperpedia podcast of last week, and I don't know if you didn't get that episode. There is a Whisperpedia, a Sleep Whispers podcast. If you go to Google Play, iTunes, like all the places where we're at, there's also Sleep Whispers podcast, and this guy, he's a genius. I got My Pillow. By the way, I've been on that My Pillow for 3 weeks.
Getting better.
Off the TV, and I actually like it a lot better.
Okay.
So I'm pretty stoked about that. So I got my Pillow, and I couldn't sleep the other night. I was like, well, I might as well try a Sleep Whispers.
You didn't do it.
So I listened to Sleep Whispers, and buddy, can I tell you, it's a 30-minute podcast. I didn't make it all the way through. I think that the trick is you're trying so hard to listen for it that you're concentrating and it just sucks your energy out and you're just like, bleh. So
You know, that's kind of true. It's like when my wife's sitting there trying to have a conversation with me, I'm trying to go off, or trying to when I'm trying to doze off.
Yep.
And I'll just pass out and she'll hit me a couple times because she's trying to have a conversation with me. So maybe that's true. I don't know.
So here, the thing that we talked about on last week's episode is that he has got 140 something reviews compared to us that has 10. So he's got 119 episodes. So we're not too terribly far. We're on 67 at this point. We're not too terribly far behind us. He's got way more reviews. So we thought what would be fun would be to do a reading of his reviews in the way that he does his podcast. So I'm going to let you listen to his show for a little bit, and then we will turn down the lights. We will get comfortable, and we will read his reviews in the same manner. So here is the Sleep Whispers podcast. Dude's a genius. Harris, I got to give you props. Good job, buddy.
Welcome back to another episode of Sleep Whispers.
You liking that, buddy?
I'm Harris, and this is a podcast of whispered ramblings and whispered readings to help you to relax and fall asleep.
So you're kind of getting the idea of how this thing's rolling.
Number 119. And specifically, it's a Whisperpedia episode about the Komodo dragon.
Okay. All right. So,
If you are a listener,
I mean, who doesn't like to know about the Komodo dragon? Just asking. Asking for a friend on that. So you guys understand kind of what we're trying to go for. Who wants to go first? We're going to read two. You read, Mojo, you read one, and then I'll read one, and we'll see how that goes. This is from Kurt. I really enjoy your podcast. I've tried listening to different artists now and again. There are some very talented artists, but I inevitably revert back to you. Please take care of that voice of yours and never stop producing content. I think it's true that you are a true talent, and only you can quote that one little line and talk about it for 30 minutes. No criticism, but I will say your best content is when you're truly excited about your topic. Even through the whispers, I can hear your interest level. And all of my favorite episodes are when you are clearly excited to share with the audience. Keep it up.
This is from Tim Muggleswipe. This is creepy.
So is that your review?
That was it. I'll tell you what. I got to give it to the guy because I don't think I could whisper for 30 minutes straight.
Listen, that review was a lot harder than I was expecting.
I understand it's probably like a 4-second review, but it took that long. So
Could you imagine reading an entire Wikipedia page like that?
Nah.
No.
I'd love to see what this cat looks like.
Dude, we have got to get him on,
Absolutely.
even though we kind of badmouthed him. You think?
Well, it's all in good gesting and fun and humor. Hopefully he would.
Yeah, I mean, like legitimately, I got to give him props for 119 episodes. That's insane.
Yeah.
But two, God bless a bear. Like it literally put me to sleep. I couldn't sleep. I was like, well, this is going to be my last ditch effort. Threw that on. Boom, I'm out.
All right, no doubt.
I mean, that was crazy.
So kudos to the Whispering Harris, I guess is what his moniker is. So, yeah. I just don't know if I could do that cadence for that long.
No, that was exhausting.
Yeah, exactly.
I got to talk loud.
That's right.
All right, so that's another episode of the Southern Fried Philosophy Podcast.
You can find us on Facebook at Southern Fried Philosophy. Please, pretty please, go to our Google Play, iTunes, or Stitcher. You can find us there. You can download your favorite episode, subscribe, give us a like, share our podcast. You can also go to our Twitters and Instagram at SFP Radio, also youtube.com/SFP Radio.
And as always, keep looking up.